come to chew bubblegum and make kick-ass movie reviews. And I'm all out of gum. Alright, so we are on the 8th 18 or older movie review, and today we are going over the 1988 John Carpenter cult classic, I want to say, They Live. This film is a very mixed bag. I would describe it as an action comedy more than anything, though some of the marketing and like makeup effects and stuff like that make it seem more like it's trying to be a scary movie, and I guess in some ways it is, because capitalism is very scary. So the film was written and directed by John Carpenter. It was based off of a novel called 8 O'Clock in the Morning, which was written by Ray Nelson. The film stars former wrestling superstar Rowdy Roddy Piper and Keith David, and that's about it. I mean, there are some other characters, but really those two have most of the screen time, do most of the work, and have the biggest relationship. It's really no contest. They are the main characters and probably, some might say, the only characters of the film. So for those of you who don't know, this film is about a homeless man looking for work in LA who accidentally stumbles upon this pair of sunglasses that helps him see the real message hidden beneath like advertisements, and also opens him up to the fact that aliens live among us and want us to be subdued and controlled by their capitalist free market wills. I can't really say much else without getting into the review, so I shouldn't be spoiling anything, but let's get into the review. So, the pros for this movie. I gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd. Pretty much everything in this movie is a pro. It's a beautiful film in a way that I can't really describe. It's hilarious. It's got some really interesting messages. The plot is super zany and very like 1980s machismo. Some other pros were the makeup, the like blood and stuff. I really liked how when characters got in a fight, they stayed hurt for a little while. You know, they would swell, they would get cuts and scrapes and stuff, and then they would be there later scenes, and they would heal as time went on, though it was kind of hard to perceive how much time goes on exactly in the plot. It's really hard to put this movie in a box. I can't decide if it's a clever deconstruction of 1980s values and of satire of, you know, capitalism and that whole thing, or if it's just a movie that's really trying to have some fun and be about an alien invasion. I mean, it can obviously be both, but I don't see it as that. I'm gonna go more towards a lighthearted action comedy with some deeper rooted symbolism if you get really into it. I saw this video talking about how it's all a metaphor for ideology and stuff, and I can see where they're going with that, but it really just doesn't feel like it was that deep. Sorry, John Carpenter. So, really my only real cons are some of the effects were very dated. Not the makeup. I actually really enjoy the prosthetics of the aliens and everything. I love John Carpenter's his natural makeup effect style, but the like sound effects in the action scenes, like it was like breaking celery and like hitting meat kind of sound effects, and it didn't fit. The action wasn't very well choreographed because there were lots of times where you saw that a punch very clearly was faked, like it was. Also, some of the action scenes were really good, like the breaking up of the homeless camp and stuff, where it's really just like 10 minutes of there's not really any dialogue, you're just watching this action unfold, and it's pretty well scored and everything. And obviously the scene that I parodied in the beginning of the review, where the famous line, "I've come to kick ass and chew bubblegum," comes from, that's actually not Duke Nukem, that's from this film. And I thought it was kind of funny that, as soon as he finds out this power, he's like, I'm gonna do something about it. I don't have anything else to live for. I thought that was a really good point. I don't know if this is a pro or con, so I might put it in its own category, but this is a big point of the film, and that it's going to be virtually talked about in every single review you find of this film. There is a probably 10-minute fight scene between the two main characters, Rowdy Roddy Piper and Keith David, where Rowdy Roddy Piper is trying to get him to put on sunglasses, and Keith David doesn't want to. And it is a 10-minute fight scene where nothing really happens. I mean, they really just beat the crap out of each other, and then eventually he puts on the sunglasses. It felt like they really could have used that time to develop more of a plot, because there wasn't really much of one, if that makes sense. Like, there was a plot, but there were lots of things that they could have delved deeper on. They could have helped flesh the world out a little more, but instead it was devoted to this, I'm not exaggerating, like 10-minute fight scene where their main characters are literally just beating each other up, like bloodying each other up, which is another good point for the makeup effects. For what little plot there was, I really liked it. Most of the stuff made sense if it was kind of disorganized. So this one's kind of a gimme. I feel like this is a lot of people's favorite part of this movie, but it's the first time that Rowdy Roddy Piper puts on the sunglasses and he's figuring out what all he can see. There's lots of really good shots in there. There's lots of like fun little things that the magazines are saying, or that the billboards say, like the money says this is your god, and I think that's like the entire point of the movie is probably like solidified in that single shot of the money. But I liked that whole exploring that idea and how the revelation sort of came about, and it's kind of this unbroken sequence of him just looking around and realizing what has happened to the world, or what has been happening, and nobody has even realized it. So as I kind of touched on earlier, I think the film works better as an action comedy. I think if you were to show it to a modern audience now, they would probably perceive it more as like a something that Dwayne Johnson would be in. Like, I could very easily see this movie being horribly remade with Dwayne Johnson in it. He would have that in common with Rowdy Roddy Piper, as they were both former wrestlers. But I don't think that it would be taken seriously as John Carpenter might have hoped for it to be in the 80s. While there is, a lot of symbolism and themes at play, I just don't think the movie is really a great vessel for what it's supposed to be talking about. Maybe I just missed something, but for me personally, it didn't feel like it went that deep. There were lots of things that just kind of took me out of the things that it was trying to establish as serious or problematic. Especially towards the ending, it fell into a lot of the traps of 80s movies, and it just felt nonsensical. So I think that's it for the review. I tried to make this one pretty quick. I never know when I'm filming it how long it's going to time out to be. I'm still working on stuff. I'm just really busy with school right now, so I'll have this review out. I'll probably have another one out for October. If you want to follow along, I do blog reviews as well. I posted those links in the comments last time, but I've done a couple more since then. So just check that website every once in a while if you're looking for reviews for me. I'll try to keep updating my Instagram and Twitter and stuff. I hope to be working on more short films and sketches and stuff soon. It really just depends on if my schedule permits it. I don't think there's anything else from me, so I'll see you guys later. Oh, and October, I was going to review Psycho, but I actually already watched it and did a blog review for that, so check that out. So instead, October's movie is going to be Alien. Surprisingly enough, I've never seen Alien. I'm told lots of great things about it. Obviously, I know kind of more or less what happens, but I still am really interested to see what happens in this film. So, that's what we're going to be reviewing in October. Thanks for watching, guys. Follow me on social media, like, comment, share, all that stuff. You know what to do. And most importantly, stay woke.